Hi guys, what is going on and welcome to today's YouTube video. In today's video we're going to discuss my current trading plan for Bitcoin, and I'm also going to discuss my current trade idea that I'm potentially going to take on INJ. Also a chart that is looking extremely interesting in my opinion. So we are going to start off with Bitcoin, and after Bitcoin I'm going to discuss one of the hottest altcoin pairs at the moment, the past few months, probably even this year. I'm going to discuss a potential trade scenario that I'm seeing being developed currently on the INJ and also obviously on the Bitcoin price. Because looking at this hour 4 chart on Bitcoin, first of all, we can see we put in the top over here. We still have the previous range low area over here for the Bitcoin price, in which we can see that we also found resistance around the previous range low area over here. We got a deviation above that key area over here. But in my opinion, even more interesting is that if I'm going to zoom in on the more local price section, we have a huge wick to the upside over here and a huge wick to the downside over here. Now, there is something about these wicks that I've been telling you guys many times. These wicks, they act as a draw on liquidity. Why do these wicks act as a draw on liquidity? Because price moved too fast to the downside and upside for bottom wicks and too fast to the upside and downside for bottom wicks. Why is it a problem that price was moving so fast and that these wicks are being generated? It is because the orders of the market makers that are, for example, laying within this liquidity pool over here, right? So we had a liquidity pool and a resistance area over here. There were some orders of market makers over here. Now the same with this liquidity area over here. There were some orders of market makers within this liquidity pool over here. Now, if price moves too fast, those orders do not have enough time to fill. Those orders are very big. They consist out of huge sums of money. So it takes time for those orders to get filled. So instead of wicks, you would like to see a move into those liquidity pools, consolidation, and then a reversal pattern. And these wicks are indicating that there's still a lot of unfilled orders left behind. And that is why these wicks are usually a big draw on liquidity. Now, it is very interesting, right? Because we are seeing this wick to the downside being generated, and also currently this wick to the upside, which means we have a draw and a magnet on liquidity to the downside, but also to the upside. And I think we could potentially anticipate both of these wicks being filled. Now, over here we have these two wicks, right? So we can mark them out, both with a potential rectangle. Let's at least mark this one out with a rectangle like this. This one we will leave like this. Now, on the 1 hourly time frame, and especially on the 15-minute time frame, we can see that we have a huge liquidity buildup above this wick, right? So this liquidity buildup is causing even more liquidity to be resting around this area below these lows over here. And we also have an interesting low over here, right? Why is this low interesting? Because a lot of retail traders think they will outsmart the big money. So they will go on the lower time frame and they think, I'm not going to put my stop at the obvious low. No, this time I'm going to be smart, and I see this low on the lower time frames, because this low cannot be seen on the 1 hourly time frame, but on the 15-minute time frame they can see this low, and they think, let me put my stop below this low. They're actually going to put their stop within this demand area over here, right? With this demand candle, we can extend this to the downside, or we can extend this to the previous demand over here and over here that was coming in. So they're actually going to put their stop within that already existing liquidity pool because of that wick, and that already existing liquidity pool because of the previous demand that was building up over here. So a potential trade idea that I'm currently looking at on the Bitcoin price is to get a sweep of these lows over here that we are building up into that liquidity pool because of that wick. We know that these wicks tend to get filled at least for 50%, and sometimes even for 75 or 100%. And to get a bounce from there, targeting the upper wicks. On the other hand, I'm not willing to do this the other way around. Why? Because above this wick, we still have Monday's high that is untapped over here. Okay, so we have untapped previous week Monday high and previous week high in general over here. So I'm not willing to play this potential scenario from the top to the bottom, but if we're going towards the bottom first, I'm looking at potential long plays within this liquidity pool, targeting the upper liquidity pool because of that hour 4 wick, and also this previous week Monday high over here. There will be a huge draw on liquidity as well, and I kind of expect it to get swept if we go towards that area. Okay, so if we move up from here, I can expect this Monday high to get taken out as well before a potential move to the downside. Personally, market is still low liquid, it's still extremely low volume and not really that volatile. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just wick this and then go to the upside, wick this, and then start chopping around here for a little bit more. Okay, I think that would hurt most amount of people before potentially later on in the next few weeks eventually get that move to the upside towards $32,450, a target I've been calling this entire year already on the Bitcoin price. Okay, so this is my current trade idea on Bitcoin. Wait for a move into this liquidity pool, wait for a sign of strength within this liquidity pool, so see that orders are being filled, shorts and sells are potentially being absorbed, and that could be your potential long trigger. Okay, if you guys have any questions about Bitcoin, let me know in the comments down below, and I will make sure to answer all of the questions as always for you guys. Now we are going to continue with ING, because ING is one of the strongest altcoins this year, if not the strongest. Look at this upwards move, and we can also see that ING is currently holding its ground against Bitcoin extremely well, especially compared to other altcoins. Now, over here we saw a move to the downside, right? We swept these equal lows, which was a big liquidity pool. This liquidity pool was building up above this daily OB over here, right? You can see that we got a local sweep of this low into the daily OB. We created a bullish hammer candlestick, and we saw a little bit of continuation to the upside. Now moving on to the lower time frame, and for a minute removing this higher time frame draw, we can see that on the lower time frame we can see that we got a beautiful sweep of these equal lows, resulting in a bounce with momentum. The bounce with momentum created a break of structure over here. Okay, so we broke structure again to the upside on the 1 hourly time frame. 4 hourly time frame, we can see that we also broke structure again to the upside. Okay, so this is a valid lower high. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles to the upside, definitely a valid lower high before we formed a new low, and we once again formed a new high. Okay, so shifted market structure to the upside again. Now currently we are also breaking this high. At least that is what retail traders think. So a lot of retail traders will see this as a potential breakout being formed on ING. Where do you think that these breakout traders are going to put their stops? They're all going to put their stops below this low. So let's say they open a market long somewhere around this area, stop below this low. Their target would be, for example, this high over here, and that offers an RR of exactly 2. So it makes sense for those breakout traders to open a long here, put their stop below this low, target this high. So that means that below this low over here, we have a lot of liquidity, and it makes up for a beautiful inducement. An inducement of this specific breaker block that we have on the 1 hourly time frame, right? So this breaker block with a beautiful imbalance being formed, potential beautiful setup being formed on ING. On the 4 hourly time frame, we can even extend this move like this. I don't really care. You can just extend it to the downside a little bit. Let's remove this for a second. If we're going to extend this to the left, we can also see the interaction with this entire crucial area in the past, right? So resistance, resistance, huge support, huge support, huge support. Now we have reclaimed that area of interest, okay? We have formed a beautiful inducement above it, especially on the 1 hourly time frame. Like I said, we have this beautiful hour 1 breaker block over here. So the previous supply failed to hold on as resistance, even formed a beautiful imbalance on the 1 hourly time frame, and on the 2 hourly time frame also formed a beautiful imbalance. And you can see the supply coming in with this inverted hammer candlestick followed by this red breakdown candle. And now this previous supply should act as demand. It has a beautiful inducement above it. So potential trade idea that I'm looking at is to get a sweep of this inducement, sweep all of the stops of those late long positions, and from there get some kind of reversal pattern targeting the liquidity that I just mentioned, which is above this high over here. This could be a beautiful, beautiful potential trade setup, okay? Looking at the reaction, if you get the right reaction, you can start longing ING with your stop below this low, clean invalidation, clean first target. Eventually, guys, you can target much higher because, like I said, there's a lot of hype around this coin. It can easily pump much harder and much higher towards this high, and eventually even maybe towards new yearly highs around $10. If you guys do have any questions about this potential trade idea, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any questions in general about this entire YouTube video, please let me know in the comments down below as well, and I'll see you guys on Monday's video. Ciao, ciao.